Hello, this is Music Tech Help Guy, and welcome to part 3 of my Melodyne editor tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to take the chorus of this song. The song's called Setting Fire by Mayday Children. It's a project of mine. And we are going to create artificial harmonies for the chorus to sort of thicken the voice a little bit more. This is really helpful when you have a singer that doesn't quite know what harmonies he or she wants to sing, or maybe just isn't very good at singing harmonies. Even if you create artificial harmonies and just barely tuck them in the background, almost to where they're not noticeable, it really thickens the vocals a lot and brings them out and makes them stand out, especially in the chorus or the hook of a song like this. So again, this song is called Setting Fire. It's a brand new single I just released last month. If you want to check it out, I will make sure to list a link to it in the video description below. For now, let's listen to what we have. We have doubled up left and right vocals here. One's panned left, one's right. The only thing that's going on the vocals really is just got a little bit of EQ. I'm just using the channel EQ for a little bit of a sibilance boost. And then I'm using Waves CLA 3A just to compress the signal a bit. Basically, I have the whole track right here, the whole instrumental track right here on one track. I'm just using a little bit of EQ to boost the high end and using the API 2500 just to compress it a bit. And on the master fader, I'm using Vitamin just to enhance the image a bit, and also just the FabFilter Pro L just to sort of limit it on the end. None of the plugins really matter too much. What does matter is that when you add Melodyne to tune these vocals, that you add Melodyne first in the chain. So that's why I've left a blank insert slot on both of my vocals. So let's listen to what these sound like right now.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved. You've never loved before. Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved before.
All right. I also have a little bit of a reverb and delay on there that you can hear. The first thing we need to do is we actually need to tune up both of these vocal tracks. I want these nice and crisp, nice and tight. The other thing, and then what we're going to do is we'll take one of those vocal tracks and we'll turn it into a harmony. One thing I did off screen is with flex time, I did set both of these vocals in time with each other. So that's why rhythmically they're very tight. So let's start with the first chorus track here. I'm gonna throw a Melodyne on here. And what we'll do is just wait for it to load, hit transfer and hit play.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved. You've never loved before. Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved before.
All right. So here's our print into Melodyne. Let's see if it actually put us in the correct key. It did not. So I know for a fact that this song's in the key of D minor. If you happen to be in a situation where Melodyne doesn't correctly guess the key and you have to sort of force Melodyne to snap your edits to the correct key, what you do is you go up to this little square up here, you click on it, and you go down to Scale Editor, and you go to Scale Detective. And what you do is you choose the key of your choice. I'm going to go to D minor, and there's all these different scales we can use. So D minor. And then I'll go to View or Scale Editor and go to Hide. And now when I go to correct the pitch this time, it'll snap to D minor instead of G minor. So it incorrectly sensed the key of the song. So let's drag over all this, go to correct pitch, snap to D minor, pull the pitch center up, and let's listen to this and see how close it is. We may have to go in and do some manual tweaks, as I'm sure we will.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit.
Yeah, right off the bat, I'm hearing some mistakes.
Want you to love me like.
This needs to go down here.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved. You never.
Hear that? This is a note that didn't get separated, so we'll double click on the top of that to separate it.
You love me like you never loved.
Let's quantize that.
Want you to love me like you never loved. You've never loved before. You've never loved before. Before. Never loved before.
This is supposed to be 4 3 notes, so let's separate that. Requantize that.
Never loved before. Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you did.
Here's another one, like in the beginning here.
Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved before.
Same here, it's 3 notes. Now you'll notice I've skipped over them for the most part, but you're probably noticing that a lot of these, oops, there we go. A lot of these A's, you can see that the line is going above the A, so they all sound a little bit sharp. So one thing I'm going to do with all these notes that are on A is I'm going to take almost all of them, all these ones and all these ones, and I'm going to knock them down by like a quarter step. So the way you do it is you just hold Option and you pull them down. So we got a much more natural sounding A there.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved. You've never loved before.
This needs to go down to E.
Never loved. You've never loved before.
I wonder if it's supposed to be...
Never loved. You've never loved.
Yeah, love. This is supposed to be an F. There we go.
Never loved. You've never.
No. That's supposed to be like that.
Never loved. You've never loved before. Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved before.
And just this very last one still sounds a little bit sharp to me. So pull it down a touch.
Want you to love me like you never loved before.
What I'll try to do is let's actually separate this note. That may actually give us a better result. There we go. Let's try that.
You love me like you never loved before.
Much better.
You never loved before.
And another thing I'm going to do is, just with all of these notes, I'm going to go to my modulation tool, not the pitch drift tool, modulation tool, and just pull it down just a touch. 89%. Sure, that's just fine. All right, now let's move over to our second track. And just to save time, I will tune the second vocal track off screen. It'll essentially be identical to the tuning I did on the first one. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I've got the other take completely tuned. Let's try listening to both of them together.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved. You've never loved before. Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved before.
Cool. So now finally, and now we've got both of these tuned, what we're going to do is we're going to take the strongest of the two. Now we're still going to keep both of these up here. Chorus 1 tends to sound better, I think is more consistent than the second one. I'm going to use the second one as just a layering voice. This one is going to be the one that we base our harmony off of just because I think it's more consistent. So what we'll do is we will duplicate this track, whoops, by clicking right here. And unlike Pro Tools, like when you duplicate a track, it doesn't duplicate the audio down. But it doesn't really matter because when you duplicate the track, the Melodyne plugin gets duplicated. So even if there's no audio there, the audio is still going to play from the Melodyne plugin.
Want you to love me like you never did.
I know it seems strange, but just remember, anything you print into Melodyne is what's going to be heard. All right, so let me just pan this harmony over to the right a little bit so it doesn't collide with the this vocal on the left. And what we're going to do is we're going to harmonize all of her vocal melody up a third. Now, keep in mind, we're harmonizing up in the third of the key. So the key is the key of D minor. The note we land on is D in a lot of these these little May, Re, Do, or whatever you want, F, E, D, these little sort of 3-note motives. What we want to do is we want to harmonize up a minor third. Now, there's many different ways to harmonize. You can harmonize up major thirds, minor thirds, down sixths, fourths, fifths. Just for this song, I'm going to try a minor third since we're in a minor key. But keep in mind, every single note may not be a minor third. Some may be major thirds, not minor thirds. It's all relative to the key that we're in. So here's how I do it. I hit Command A. I'm going to pull all these up 1, 2, 3 steps. That's up a minor third. 4 steps would be too far. It's a major third. So we're going to pull this from D up to F. So now she's just going to sound like she's been parallel transposed.
Want you to love me like you never did.
This isn't going to sound very good.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love.
Certain notes will sound okay, other notes aren't going to sound okay. It's because we haven't transposed this to the relative key, meaning that even though we've bumped this up to F minor, you can't parallel harmonize. Parallel harmony is not generally a good thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-quantize all these notes in the key of D minor. So we've shifted the whole thing up 3 half steps, but we're still going to retranspose to the key of D minor, so all of the notes are still in D minor, because some of these notes are not in D minor. So we'll say correct pitch, snap to D minor, include notes manually edited. We're going to do one of these. There we go. So now we end up with...
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved. You've never loved before.
That sounds a little glitchy. There's a lot of artifacts in there, but we're going to hide that. Effectively, what we've done is we've basically transposed this to the relative major of D minor, which is F major. So another thing I like to do with my vocal harmonies, just to make them a little more solid, is I like to a little more streamlined sounding, is I like to take them and I like to pull the pitch modulation way down. Not all the way down, but a little further down. So it may sound a little, auto-tuned.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit.
But keep in mind, we're going to tuck this behind the original. So let's pull in both of our lead vocals. Let's pull the harmony down quite a bit, and let's see what this sounds like.
Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved. You've never loved before. Want you to love me like you never did. Want you to love me like you never quit. Want you to love me like you never loved before.
So that's pretty good. If you don't like some of the notes, you can go in and take them out, or you can go in and tweak them, move them up and down, and find a different harmony that fits your taste. Another thing I like to do with the harmony is I like to cut a lot of the high end out, so we're hearing mostly the mid-range. That's for 2 reasons. One, the most amount of phase or noticeable phase is going to happen in the upper range, so I don't want a lot of phase interaction between the harmony and then our other chorus track here, because they're similar. They've been pitch shifted, but they're still similar. They're based off the same material. So I like to cut a lot of the high end out, so our harmony is mostly mid-range. So let's listen to this one last time with the music in there. And there's some weirdness in there, especially on the very, very end where the vocal harmony stands out a little bit too prominently. Maybe we need to play around with it just to make it sync up a little bit better. But overall, that's the process I use to create artificial backing harmonies. A very, very useful tool in pop and rock music production. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Please support the channel by liking the video, subscribing to the channel. If you can, go buy the song on iTunes. The song has been out in iTunes for a few weeks now, and there's the single version of it, and there's also an acoustic version of it on iTunes. They're only $1 a piece. Another way you can help support the channel and make sure that I can get videos out regularly and update my gear and make the videos better for your viewing experience is to go to patreon.com/MusicTechHelpGuy and leave a monthly contribution, even if it's only $1 or even if it's $2. It'll help keep the channel going. That's patreon.com/MusicTechHelpGuy. So thanks for the support and thanks for watching.